During the summer of 2023, we moved to a remote Scottish Hebridean island to be its only two residents, along with our two pet sheep and pair of cats. These remote islands seem to retain an old-fashioned rhythm and a charm which we find encouraging us to live a more frugal and simple life, the way man was perhaps more intended to. We have an ancient stone cottage to restore, veggies to grow, livestock to build up, fish to catch and smoke, a boat to buy, and much more. Step back in time with us at the Scottish Isle.
I think you might need to tell people what you're doing.
Jeeves is going in prison. This is going to be where the lamb is penned up overnight and when she's unsupervised. Just going to attach it to the wall and cut it down a bit. I'll turn it over once it's cut down so that there's no jaggy bits for her wee eyes, but it doesn't need to be that tall. You can cut maybe a couple off of there so that she doesn't feel so hemmed in. And then we put some chicken wire around it, some nice soft bedding in there for her, and just clear it out every day.
Well, the other thing is, when you're here during the day, you're always sat there at the computer anyway, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll just open it. I'll open it up. So I've got some hooks, some little, I don't know what they're called, little U-tacks. And some hooks.
These are not for this job.
Well, no, that isn't for this job. These are. So I'm gonna tack one side to the wall and then have the other side so that it hooks on, so that we can open it and let her run around the kitchen. Initially, she's not going to be allowed outside unsupervised, and she's not going to be allowed in the bit around the front of the house unsupervised, because they just go mad when they're outside. They hop and jump and skip, and she'll end up falling off the edge of the cliff or something like that. So we're going to walk her round to this side of the house, let her run around and play out there every day, just until she's a wee bit older, when they had a bit more sure-footed
We never had
after
this
a couple of
problem with
months.
Bree, did we? Because there was nowhere for her to go.
Not really.
Running around the garden, so...
She had to learn the steps, but the baby will learn that too. And we've decided on her name, but we'll tell you when you meet her.
Which is going to be?
I'm away to collect her this afternoon in a couple of hours. Oh, good grief. These need some WD-40 on them. Did that even cut? Yes.
Yeah, it did.
Come on, WD-40.
I don't think there's a household in the entire UK that doesn't have a can of WD-40 in the shed. They were left outside for several months in the rain. Do you feel like you're escaping from Stalag 12?
I feel like my forearms are about to fall off.
Well, would you like me to take over?
Why, yes. Your technique isn't as good as mine.
I think you'll find that you never had a technique. That you were just going for it, like, with no real thought involved.
When we first got Bree, we had her on straw, and she got recurring infections, lung infections from the dust. So this is why we have them on these posh shavings, because as soon as we put them on these dust-free pine shavings, they stopped getting infections. Well, Bree did.
Say, by appointment.
Yeah. The royal horses use this.
Well, 20 minutes later.
Obviously, start out with all the tools you think you need. not the ones you actually need. But yeah, good. We can hang a little bit of put a wee hay net for her at some stage. Try and encourage her to get eating some solids, but she'll be fed 4 times a day, depending on what age she is. 4 times a day to start with. Then over the next few months, increase the amount that she gets fed, decrease the frequency, and introduce coarse food, dry food.
Is it moments like this, yeah, that I think to myself, it's so, I know she's got no mother, yeah, because these are orphan lambs, but take them away from the other lambs as well.
She's going to have a very good life.
She's going to win the lottery of life, as far as the sheep's concerned. But what I'm saying, you know what I mean? It's like she's not going to be playing around with the other lambs.
Well, I'm hoping that she'll get these two playing, because they do sometimes they've got a wee bit of kick left in them. They do kind of get noised
Skip
up
a bit.
But I think having a lamb around will be good for them. Something being so lazy.
Speaking of which. Couldn't have punctuated a point any better.
He knows I'm here. But can't resist a custard tart. He'll be disappointed this time.
Where are you going?
Going over to the mainland.
What would you be going there for?
Get a lamb.
So, the next time I see you...
I will be carrying a little fluffy baby lamb.
Well, I was going to come with you, wasn't I? Obviously. But...
We're not going to film at the farm, it's private, so I might as well just hop over myself and come back again.
Well, it's a shame. We'd like to have done that, but it's just not possible to do it, is it? So...
I'll let you know when I'm on the way back and you can...
Well, I would say I'll come and meet you, but I can't really do anything, can I? What you can do is just carry her down.
Yeah, I'm just going to carry her back. You can come and meet me on
A rucksack.
On the track.
Put in a rucksack. You're excited?
I'll see you shortly.
You're excited?
Yeah, I am, but you know, it's also it's a big responsibility. You know, you have to not take it lightly.
No.
I'm gonna have to go and get some rainwear, aren't I?
What for?
It's just passing anyway. It's a shower, isn't it?
Well, do you want to go back and get some?
No, I'm not made of sugar. I won't dissolve.
What?
Goodbye.
I thought you were. Bye.
We're going to go for walks in this woods when you're older, little sheep. Little Lammy. Here she is. She's very inquisitive. She's been sniffing me all the way back. You can't go down. No.
How tiny she is.
This is Shona. She needs her face given a wee clean. She's got a milky mouth. She's obviously been at her breakfast. And she is just a few days old. They only had 2 girls. One of the other girl had a poorly leg. So she's a Shetland cross. And she was a triplet. But apparently she was running about in the field stealing milk from other ewes, which before they brought her in, which is good because it means she'll have had some colostrum, which is the only thing I was concerned about really with an orphan lamb. But she's got
a bloody tick on her face.
I don't know if it's a tick or not. Where are you going? Where do you think you're going? She's been nibbling my finger, so I think she's hungry.
Just come out of the light a bit because the sunlight's like really bright where you are.
See from the moon, little sheep. He didn't put a ring on her tail, so she's got her full tail. She had a wee cut on the end of her tail or something like that, so she's got an orange end to her tail at the minute, but that'll come off in time. So she should have quite nice wool, and she should be quite a nice size. She was smaller than the other sheep too, than the other ewe. She's chewing her teeth, you hear her. She's hungry. I think she's hungry. I'll go and get you some food. Little Shona. So Shona in Gaelic means happy.
Shona the sheep.
Shona the sheep.
Well, she will be in a year.
Yeah, she's very inquisitive. She's been like nibbling this and sniffing my hair and sniffing the air as well, the salt air. She's going to be tired. I wonder if Isa will take care of her like she did with Bree and Crowdy.
She still takes care of Crowdy, doesn't she? This is the first time that she's going to meet the other 2 sheep.
Yeah, she's not going to be allowed to run around with them for some time yet, because she'll just run off. We're chasing her. Apparently she's quite fast. Look at this. Who's this? Come down, little lamb. And say hi, Crowdy. That's nice of you, Bree. You two are probably related. Let's go and get her fed.
Oh, she'll be happy about that.
You want some food? Yes, I think you do want some food. First meal. You hungry? Can we go down? Lamb feeding station. Yeah.
She's taking it, she's just not, she hasn't figured it out yet.
She's not suckling it.
No. But it's going into her mouth, she's drinking it, and it's all pouring out her mouth as well.
That's it. Spilling lots of it. She might not be that hungry.
Just put back there, just don't worry about it. She will be eventually. She'll start crying when she is.
She does have a fairly full feeling belly, Don't you? We'll try again in a few hours. We'll clean your face first.
Is that it there? No, the chair leg. No. Where'd it go?
Probably onto me. Where did you say the other one was?
Onto a chin on the other side.
This.
Is that a tick?
Horrid, nasty, disgusting things.
Ticks. I can't see if that's actually part of the mouth. No, I need glasses. I don't want to be pulling on it, do I? It's just the...
It's not her lip. It's either dried up clump of milk or a tick.
It's okay. No, it is. It's a lip. Yeah, I thought as much. She's got like a lump on her lip there.
Right under her chin here.
No, that's part of her as well. It's just another... Yeah, she's like a spot.
There.
Yeah, it's part of her.
Okay. I think that's it then.
Yeah, they're just like little spots
Just
on
think
her chin.
it'll be
Sorry, girl.
it'll be sebaceous fluid around their mouth and on the tips of their ears is where they get it. The imagery of Scotland and shepherding go hand in hand, though sheep are not thought to have been present here until the Neolithic migrations. The mass introduction of sheep during the 18th century changed the landscape of Scotland forever. The widespread summer cattle sheelings and pastures fell to ruin and were replaced with sheep pens known as fanks and shepherds' bothies. Though met with opposing emotions, the Highlanders nevertheless adapted so well to this new way of life that new traditions and customs of sheep farming sprung into existence, the echoes of which can still be seen today. In days past, a shepherd would live out on the hills with his sheep, moving them from pasture to pasture, spending his days tending the flock, crafting crooks and knitting. A man could be in charge of 500 sheep or more and know each of them by sight. Traditionally, the shepherds dipped their flocks in tobacco juice in the summer and smeared their skin with a salve made of wood, tar and butter to prevent parasites. In the old days, the shepherds would come together for the clipping, driving the sheep to a farmer's fank, and a vibrant day of jostling sheep and cajoling a neighbour was crowned with a great feast put on by a farmer's wife. So notable was the midday dinner that was laid out. They were hard to forget, and the stuff of fireside stories for some time after. The clipping day was of course rounded off with the usual dram and a ceilidh. It was an important time of year in the life of a shepherd, which could sometimes be a solitary existence, but much like harvest time, the community worked together to ensure the provision of all. We're wanting to find a use for all of this wood that I pulled out of the kitchen. It looks to be the same as this I think it was done at the same time, which I think is fir. I think it's from the island. Scott's going to make some bookshelves out of this. But I also would like a herb garden that's not on the ground, because I think all of the residents of the island, apart from Scott and I, will probably try and eat it first if I do that. So my idea was just to make a couple of wee window boxes. I've cut these 2 to length already. I've got kind of an idea how I'm going to do it and make it nice and secure. It can't be way up here like normal window boxes will be, because then I won't be able to get the windows open to just harvest the herbs, which is what I really would like to do. So I'll put them a wee bit lower than convention and let the plants grow up. I just need to find something narrow to put along the bottom, because none of this wood's suitable. We've only got a jig, we don't have a table saw, so I can't cut long ways because it'll just be like that. But I think there's wood round here. I think this is all too wide. That's too thick. This doesn't look bad. And there's an absolute ton of it. Yeah, this'll do. Wow, that couldn't be more squint. Window squint. That's perfectly level. That's off. I mean, it's still within the lines, but it's not perfect. Feels very seasidey out here.
Well, I've just been editing the footage of you making your window boxes, and there was a tech failure. So we couldn't show the footage of you putting them on, the fronts on, sorry, and doing them up.
It was also a pain in the backside and getting late. The sun had gone round and everything was in shadow, So,
Like Gandalf.
this one here, come round the front,
Hang on, I've got to jump down.
like a gazelle.
Wasn't I?
This one here, so my baseboard was square, as you saw, was level, but the window was slightly like that. So when I stepped back, it looked on the tilt.
Yeah.
So what I've done is, to compensate for that, I've put this on, slightly squint, to match the window so your eye doesn't notice it. All the sawn edges they're standing out like a sore thumb, so I darkened them all with charcoal, and they've come out quite well. Can you see? They kind of match the grey and silvering of the outside now.
I said, didn't I, when you started doing this, that because we don't have like a bench saw and we have no way on this island of cutting a straight line, it is going to be quite difficult. So I'm surprised that you did as well as you did, to be honest.
With a handsaw, maybe a bench saw is one for the wish list. I picked boards that I've already started to silver as well, so this will just match this. I'll get some more herbs planted, chives, parsley, rosemary and coriander at the minute, but I'll get some oregano and...
The colour on that's not far off already.
No, it's not bad, is it? Not bad. I don't like having these screws out, but I was struggling at the end of the day. I was tired, so...
Well, all you need to do with those is just pull them out and countersink them in. And again, it's just a few seconds job, that is.
Well, you say pull them out. These were hard to get in. These were... they just thread. I wasn't using the drill at the end either. I was using a long-handled hand screwdriver, and they just thread. It's just cheap crap, right? That's lying around. It's not made in the UK. I am going to, I think, grow the loofah up here.
What do you want a loofah for?
Well, they're edible. They're kind of like halfway between a cucumber and a courgette or zucchini.
But I can't eat them.
I like them, but I'm going to dry them and make sponges.
Okay. Well, I understand that because I've got no idea what a loofah is, apart from it being something that when it's dried out, you use it like a sponge.
But this is south facing. It gets the sun a lot, so if I just grow it sort of up and around the drain pipe, it's not going to do any damage to the building because they just die back every year. They are a vine. They do need some sort of support, but it should do well there. It's got its own water supply. Just start with one, I think. They can grow really tall, so that might not be tall enough for it. Right, I'm away back in to see how my wee lammie's doing.
But you're happy with your window boxes?
Yeah, they're extremely convenient. So that's what I'm happy with. And they're out of the reach of nibbling
little
ovines.
That's not the word I was going to use. It could be nothing. It's me tripping over a stone.
It looks like...
These have been placed here.
It looks like the graveyard over on there.
Those stones are laid in a circle. And it's a slight mound. Come back to that another day. None of those stones have found their way there other than being placed there by somebody.
And where's this?
Do you know where the spring house, as we're calling it, is? Up to the north of that, as in further up top of the island. It's near the top of the island. And it's in a complete clearing, like an alcove.
Bit of a cairn. Some description.
It looks like a cairn to me. We're going to have to go up there and have a good look.
Very interesting.
Well, I'm out on my own today. Katie's busy taking care of Shona, feed time, etc., and making lunch. So I thought this would be the best time, due to the brilliant weather that we're having today, to take you on this walk up the hill, which I spoke about in the previous episode. Now, I'll put the old map on the screen now, so you can see the route that the old pathway took. And it basically runs along the length of the wall all the way up. You can see behind me, these are the electricity pylons that feed the cottage, and these go all the way down to the north coast of the island and then across the expanse of water that we have to the mainland. This is where we were, episode 69, looking for the well. And as you can see, here's the old wall. So I am literally walking on the old path right now. Over there is where we concluded that the well was, underneath the oak. I was just thinking this morning how there's not much left of this part of the island to explore. You know, the cottage is down here. There's a piece over here that I haven't shown you. But the huge amount of land that there is over to the west, that would literally take years to cover. So there's just so much to see and so much to explore over the, well, I think you could be doing this for 10 years and still not cover the whole thing. When we were speaking in the last episode about where the well is, Katie was right about it coming out of the ground there. Well, it could be flowing underground, obviously, down to that point, to where the well was. And that's where the majority of the water is then cascading down the hill. It's not coming down here as I thought it was. I just came across this. Quite a robust animal bone, that. It's got to have been taken up here by one of the pine martens. Right, that's me at the top. Well, the top of this part of the island anyway. It's a decline down now to the north coast. Well, I've had my orders. I've got to be back within 2 hours. How long have I been gone now? I think 45 minutes. But I'm going to have a good explore around here. See what I can find. What's interesting is behind the camera, old boundary fence goes down. I think we may have filmed this sometime when we were looking out for the deer. There's an old gate here as well. It's been ripped off its hinges. But here's the wall, carries on down. Before I go down, I'm going to have a look around here. There's nothing up here, but when am I going to be up here again? I might as well have a look. Just these have just caught my eye. Old bits of wrought iron. Anyway, let's go and have a look over here. So this is the view. It's like a plateau up here. Hardly any trees at this point. That's the mainland you can see over there. So you might be able to see the gate that I just showed you. And then the wall follows the line of these birch trees. So that's a welcome breeze. I'm going to follow that down. Oh, that's interesting. That's the boundary wall that the path follows. But all along here, there's another wall that's been buried. There's old bits of wrought iron again, fencing. So this would have marked the path, the route down to the cottage. Now the path could probably split into two ways here. It could either go straight off in front of me, or it can carry on following the wall. And that's where the wall twists. Let's go this way. So this is definitely the route of the old path. As you can see, it's now just birch wood. I finally got through the birch wood and came across, there's a burn here, but there's the wall, and as you can see there's a kind of pathway leading down there, so that's the way we're going. Lots of deer tracks, or should I say hoof prints. Oh, hang on a minute, what's this? It's always a bit disconcerting when you're finding a pile of bones on your route. Probably deer. Right, I'm just meters away from the end now. Where I just came from in this corner here, don't know if you can see, but the boundary wall comes down here, then it shoots off at another right angle. And I believe that the route carried on down this way, across here, and then it joins up with the track. And that's the track that we use to get down to where the boats are to get across to the mainland. But unfortunately now, this track is impassable because of this bog. And I can't get round to get to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on following this wall, which is going to lead me to exactly the same place, just, I don't know, 100 yards apart. And that's the old route. Are you a bit tired?
I'm all right today. I wasn't yesterday.
Was you really tired?
Yeah, just getting up at 5:30 to feed this little one and then going back to bed for a bit. But also staying up quite late to feed her. It's like I said before, it's a big responsibility, and it's like, for me anyway, it's a worry until they're bigger. And lambs are so, they're susceptible to lots of different things, picking up different things, but they also have to. Their rumen has to develop. The bacteria and the sort of big fermenting chamber that is their stomach has to develop. So they have to ingest different bacterias, and that all has to play out. But you're constantly sort of like, why is she shivering? Why she only had half of her food this morning? And then they're.
We had it all for the first time with Burrito, didn't we? Remember when she ate the mushrooms? We used to get rid of all the mushrooms in the garden, as but there would always be one or two that you miss. And then I came back one day and she's there in the corner of the pen, head in the corner, shivering away, isn't she? Mm-hmm. And then we realised that she'd eaten a mushroom, but she never did that ever again.
No, because she does this is duck face. All you're going to get through this is her snoring. She's also a wee bit snuffly, so that could mean she's inhaled some milk at some point, and she's got that to contend with as well. But yeah, there's
a lot going on with that lamb at this moment in time.
Just all we can do is keep her safe and warm and feed her the right stuff at the right temperature, and
bit of exercise.
Yep, and the rest is not in our hands.
But she picked up a name really quickly, didn't she?
Yeah.
She now comes to Shona.
Her bleating is more. She goes meh.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite funny. It's like wrong animal.
It's like a little cow. One thing we need to talk about is why do we go down to one episode a week from the two? And
there's a couple reasons for it.
Yeah, the main reason is we need to give the episodes a chance to breathe. We are being too prolific in our output. I think that what's going to happen is it's going to be sporadic, as in we're always going to have one a week. That's always going to happen. Sometimes there might be two. On the odd occasion, there might be something else as well. But it's like we're finding, from the point of view of just studying the analytics, that a lot of people aren't getting the ability to catch up. And they're jumping in on the new episode thinking it is the new episode when there was one previous to that or two previous to that. And a lot of people are not going back and watching them in order. And I mean, that doesn't really matter. I'm sure a lot of people who have joined in the last, say, month are not going to go all the way back to the first episode. But there was that time of year, very busy at the minute. You just got to pace yourself correctly. And previous to making this decision, it was no problem. But then all of a sudden, it's like a lot more things start to vie for your time and your attention. We've now got the lamb. But for me, the main reason is we need to give people the opportunity to catch up. And we are actually seeing that as well. We are seeing a lot more viewings and a lot more watch time on the newer episodes over a short period of time. So, but the one thing we do have to make note of is this is our main source of income now. And cutting out one episode a week, we are going to feel the financial impact of that. There's no doubt about it. But we do what we do. We're not in a position where we want to be, ruled by the channel as such. We don't feel that way, but it's just a case of just getting the balance right.
Yeah, so you all help us out by viewing and sharing as well if you can. That's a big help.
Sharing the channel with everybody. Well, we do Instagram. Most of you already know that. That's regularly updated. But we should try Patreon. We haven't done that for a while. Patreon is what it is. We don't charge a lot for Patreon. We don't do a tiered subscription thing with it. It's, what is it, £4.50 in the UK, $5 in the US. Everybody gets the same content. You get direct access pretty much all the time with us there. And yeah, we do quite well with Patreon, don't we? Oh, what's it? We've moved the podcasts to Patreon and they're going to stay there. And the reason for doing that was, well, just look at the numbers of the people that were watching the podcasts.
There wasn't that much of an uptake on the YouTube.
No, so. YouTube. What we find is every kind of slightly new thing we try to do on the main channel is just no one's interested. So the podcasts had about 10,000 listeners over the course of about a month, maybe a bit more than that. But it just wasn't worth us putting them on there. So what we did, we made the podcasts now exclusively Patreon. So if you enjoyed the podcasts, you can. What are we on now? Podcast 9?
Next one will be 10, yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite a lot of podcasts that people haven't heard. And it is only, if you're in the UK, £4.50. If you're in the US, $5 a month. And there's a lot more extra content other than that. So
yeah, they all got to see Shona the moment she came home.
Yeah.
We had the culmination of the camera saga, which was that it was delivered to the wrong address after a whole month of waiting.
I'm going to take my hat off for that.
Coming from the
Let the steam come out my ears.
It was delivered by UPS to the wrong address, and of course, it being Amazon, they just looked into it and saw, yeah, it's not delivered to the 3 words location that we give on all the deliveries. So they have refunded us. Amazon do deliver to the right address, and normally, if they're using their own carriers and Royal Mail, then it doesn't fail; it gets to our post box. But just because they'd used UPS, the UPS were obviously wandering around, scratching their head. Where is this location?
I'm going to put in now some footage that we didn't use in this episode because I was too angry. It was like no one needs to see me ranting in that way. But I'm going to put a short clip in now of when I found out that there was no camera. And basically I knew there was going to be no camera because the address that they put where they delivered it to.
Never even heard of it.
Well, no, it was on the UPS track and trace.
And on Amazon it was listed as Inverness, so...
Anyway, watch this. I'm here at the gate because, believe it or not, we've been told that the camera's been delivered. I'm not convinced and I haven't looked yet. I've just come up here now. So it's 50-50. I mean, fingers crossed, I hope it is. But so there's no camera here. There's absolutely no camera here. It's just becoming unbearable, this. So as you can see, you didn't need to see the full length of that because I was really annoyed. But there's a reason for that. we got the lens. Well, let's just backtrack quickly. We ordered the camera first. We ordered the camera on the 1st of April, was that correct? And then we ordered the lens, and the lens came instantaneously. All these things were ordered from Amazon. Then we ordered the gimbal, and then we ordered the tripod. The gimbal and the tripod also got delivered to the wrong address. We have no idea where they are. We had to get refunded for these, and again, with it being Amazon, they could see that these things hadn't been delivered. So then when we the next thing is the camera, and that's £2,100 worth of kit. And yeah, that was for me. And it's not Amazon.
The tripod, Hermes tried to pull a fast one.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't delivered, then it was delivered, and yeah. Sniffing a flower. Shona.